Dr. Michaela Mitchell, and I'm a research scientist at Queensland Museum. I'm a marine biologist, but I'm a very specialised marine biologist. I'm a taxonomist of sea anemones, and that means I identify, name, and describe new species of sea anemones. But I'm also a venomist, and that means I study the venom of sea anemones so that we can use it for very special purposes, like developing medications that we can use to treat diseases.
G'day, my name's Ben Allen from the University of Southern Queensland, Toowoomba. I'm a wildlife research scientist where I have the best job in the world. I do science called wildlife management, but all of that science that I get to do is related to animals and managing animals.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Jacobs, a lecturer from the University of Queensland, and my research involves plasma. Plasma is very interesting because it has many different applications, from spaceflight to medicine. My background is in aerospace engineering, and my research has looked at the hot plasma you see in front of spacecraft when they enter atmospheres, as well as cold plasma applications for sterilizing medical equipment. One of the benefits of understanding more about plasma for spacecraft entry is that we can work on improving the heat shield materials that protect astronauts and equipment in the craft.
One person has asked, what do you most enjoy doing in your job? I love everything about my job. So this is actually a really hard question for me to answer. But if I have to pick one thing, I really love doing field work. I love going out to the ocean, being on boats, going scuba diving, finding animals and taking pictures and walking along the beach and doing rock pool rambles and looking for all different types of sea anemones. So I think probably field work is the thing that I love the most. And in the field work, I don't just do my own field work, but I love going and helping my colleagues as well. So I get to go out and I help a lot of the mammal trappers to do their work as well. And I really love working with bats. And that's probably my little side hobby, is I love working with bats.
I think this kind of stuff's important because Australia has a pretty unique fauna assemblage. We've got some pretty cool animals here in the world. You know, we've got the smallest mammals, things smaller than a mouse that can grip onto the side of your hand. We've got the largest marsupials, things with a pouch. They live right here in Australia. We've got some pretty cool animals. We grow some pretty neat food in the agricultural land around the country. And wildlife and wildlife management is pretty important to many Australians. And I get to travel to all sorts of parts of Australia and overseas, catching animals and living out in the bush like this. In fact, one of the jobs that I had as a wildlife scientist was up on a little island in the Great Barrier Reef. Our job was to catch rats, native rats, cute little ones that live in the bush. Except to get to this island, it was kind of hard. We would get on a boat, travel across the ocean, get to the island, but we couldn't actually get on the island because of the rocks and the reef that was around. So to do our job to catch rats on the island, we would have to jump off the boat into the water, swim to the island with all the stuff and all our equipment, and when we got there, we would wash up on the rocks and carry our things up onto the beach, shake off the water, go and catch rats and count plants and have a good time. When we were finished, we would have to come back down to the edge of the water and swim back out to the boat again. We used to do that day after day, year after year. Best job in the world.
As a lecturer, my job is quite varied. I need to do a mix of things, including teaching and research. Most people think of the teaching side of my job when they hear about lecturing: writing classes, marking, student projects. This can sometimes be fun, especially when you have a really interesting student project. But the real fun part of my job is the research side of things. I'm an experimentalist, so most of my research involves setting up physical experiments and then analysing the data, with a little bit of computer modelling. If I had to pick one thing that I really like about my job, I'd say that there's enough flexibility that usually no 2 days end up being the same.